What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. So today is basically the first ever episode for our new series, which is Lucas Studio. And today we will learn on the basics of what Lucas Studio has to offer. So what is Lucas Studio? So Lucas Studio is formerly known as Google Data Studio, which is a powerful data visualization tool by Google. And it is designed to create reports and dashboards from various data sources. So basically, why do we need to use Lucas Studio? It's simplifying data presentation and making informed business decisions as you go along. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you have tried many other data visualization platforms such as Power BI, Tableau, ClickSense, and the likes of it. And in fact, perhaps spreadsheet and Excel as well. So Lucas Studio will actually carry out similar tasks, which is to provide you guys with dashboarding. And it is actually one of my personal favorite is because it is simple, intuitive, and easy. Even though you have no background in IT or no knowledge on creating own dashboards, Lucas Studio is actually the right platform for you. So without further ado, let's head on and discover what Lucas Studio has to offer. And I apologize in advance. This tutorial is not exactly a step-by-step on creating a specific report. Instead, we are just going to be running through you guys a very high-level basics of Lucas Studio. But then for the next episodes to come, we will then slowly zoom in on each individual features or functions that we have in Lucas Studio itself. So bear with me. This video is more on introductory, but then as we go along, we'll go into more interesting stuff that we can do in Lucas Studio. So without further ado, let's check it out. All right, guys. So first of all, prior to create a dashboard, we must have our data ready, available. So I am using, for today's demonstration, I'm using Google Spreadsheet. So as you can see, I've actually have my spreadsheet available. And what I have at the moment is some sample of my sales data. All right. Just to recap, for our data, it's best to have the first row of the spreadsheet as our headers. All right, I'm just going to change color here so it's easier to see. So the first row must be the header itself, followed by all the relevant data in each column. So once we have this, we can simply head on to Lucas Studio. And the URL for Lucas Studio is lucasstudio.google.com. All right, so kindly log in using your Gmail account or Google account, sorry. And from there, you can actually create your own report. So by default, we have templates ready, but we won't be going through that today. We will be creating a report from scratch. So hence, we can actually create blank report. So you can either click here, the shortcut available, or you can go to the top left corner and simply click create report. You will then need to sort of select the data source. All right. Now in Lucas Studio, we have thousands of Google connectors. Sorry, not Google connectors, connectors, thousands of them, 1,000 plus. But from Google itself, we have around 24. And for today, we are using Google Sheets since I have my data parked in Google Drive. So I'll just select Google Sheets here and look for the spreadsheet. So mine is LS01 sales. All right. And I'm going to leave the first two options here available, selected, which is to use the first row as headers. All right. And to include hidden and filtered cells. So click on add. And by doing so, you are actually importing the data set into your report. And by default, Looker Studio will display this table here, sort of like a summary as to what they can gather from your report, your data, sorry. Now we will go through the table later on, but let's go through what we have in the navigation bar itself. So from the left corner, we have add page. So in Looker Studio, you can have multiple pages in one report. So let's say, for example, if I were to click add page here, you can see a second page has been created. So I'm just going to rename this to second page for now. Say second page. And this would be the first page. All right. Then we have add data next to it. Basically, this is the one that we did earlier by importing the Google Sheets into our report. You can actually mix a few sources in your report, but we'll cover that in the future videos. Then we have add a chart. So we have a lot of charts here. So you will need to select relevant charts according to your data and what sort of reporting that you want to create. And each of this would require certain types of data. Not all will fit according to your existing data. Then we have community visualizations. So this is actually similar to the charts available earlier, but the only difference is this is provided by the community itself. All right. Feel free to browse whatever additional visualizations that the community has provided. Then we have controls. All right. So controls, basically you have actionables or filters that you can add into your report. And I guess the latest addition to this is buttons. You can see here. Then we have URL embed. You can embed URL in your report. Then you have images that you can upload for additional UI, UX experience for your report. Then you can add text. So for example, if I want to add text here and call this overall sales. Okay. So on the right corner of my report, I can see text properties. And here, similar to any platforms that we use, we can actually change the settings of our objects. So since I'm selecting the text, I can sort of configure the size, the color, and whatever else that's available. All right. So feel free to explore the settings that we have relative to the objects that you have selected. Then you have lines. So basically you can create lines to show some relationship in your report later on. Then you have shapes. So you can add shapes. Say, for example, I'm adding a long rectangle in my report. And I want to put the title overlaying the shape. So I'm just going to select the title or the text that I created earlier. Right click and bring to front. So as you can see, it's here. All right. And of course, I can upload my image from my computer. All right. And of course, you can change the shape color. So I'm just going to head on to randomly select any colors I would guess would make it slightly more pleasing. Again, this is a rush version of my demonstration. We will do a proper one as we go along. And of course, if you have no time to do all the visualizations graphically, you can select the theme and layout. All right, so you have the themes, some of the themes available. They can select to sort of render the look and feel of your report. All right, so that's more or less in a nutshell of what you have in the navigation bar above your report. Now, moving on to the objects that we have in our report. Say, for example, the table that we see here, we have product category and record count. And again, just to mention the settings on the right, you can see the data source of this table is coming from the spreadsheet that I have uploaded in my Google Drive and imported in this report. All right. We can blend data, which we will cover in our next video or upcoming videos. You have date range dimension, so you can sort of basically select the columns that's relevant that has dates in it, so that you can actually use it to sort of filter or select a certain range for your display. Now for dimension, we can actually add more to our table. At the moment, we have product category, hence we can see it here in our report. Now, if I were to add additional dimensions such as product name, okay, so you can see here immediately we have a lot of data displayed based on dimension. So we have product category, product name, and say, for example, we want to add the revenue. All right, so you can see revenue next to it, and you can add as many as you like, but just a word of advice, try to reduce the number of dimensions in your report if necessary. Then only you can add more, just to reduce the clunkiness of your report. All right, so of course we have the settings of the table, and not to forget, we have styles where you can actually change the visualization of the object, and this context is the table itself. So I can actually change, say for example, the header color. I want this to be sort of in this color. I'm not sure what color this is. I'm not good in color names, so I will guess this is a mix of green and blue. So you can change the size of the text. Let's say, for example, I'll make it 16 so that it's bigger. All right. And maybe I want to change my header to white so that's easier to see. All right. Fair enough. All right. So now the next one, let's say we want to add some quick visualization to our report. So we're just going to head on to add a chart. And say, for example, the usual, we want to add some bar charts in our report. So there's a few variants of bar charts that we have in Looker Studio. Let's go with the basic one, which is the standard bar chart. You can actually hover this in your report and place it anywhere you like. So I'm just going to put it next to the table. So then you will see some visualizations of the table that we have here in the form of bar chart. All right. Then similar to that, we have some settings that we can add. So say, for example, this is displaying by product category as shown in dimension. You can change this to anything available, any of the available headers or set of columns in your data. Say, for example, you want to add or change it to product name. So it will be a lot. but I say we'll go and remain with category for now. And of course, you can add multiple charts in your report. We're going to add another one, which is the usual pie chart, and you can resize them based on the corners you can see here in your objects. So you can resize them and you can drag them along. All right, so let's just put it nicely here. So now we have table, we have the bar chart and pie chart. So similar to what we did in the table and bar chart. In pie chart, we have similar experience steps, which is the setup or settings for the chart. You can also change certain things that is unique to pie chart, such as the display. Say if I don't want this to be in percentage, I can head on to style and change it to value, say for example. So then I can see the numbers instead of percentage for the sales that I have overall. And of course, you can add some controls to our report, such as drop down. Okay, so drop down is also another quick function you can add in your report. Say for example, I add a product. No, I guess the name is not suitable at this moment. We'll just try a category. So let's say I have added a drop down filter for product category. Now, if I were to select, I can actually filter. Say for example, I want to only see electronics. I can uncheck fashion and home appliances. It will just display electronics here, and the charts will follow the filter that you have selected. The reason why is, of course, in the charts that I've added in my report, if you scroll down on the setup, you will see cross filtering is enabled. So if I don't enable this, it will independently display according to settings or filters that you have selected. Then of course, you can add some, let's say, button right at the corner of your report. And for buttons, you can actually do certain actions. Say for example, for the button action type in setup for my button, I'm actually selecting reset filter, and let's say reset, just name this to reset filter. All right, so if I were to, let me just change this background color to something more visible. Sorry guys, this is not really a pleasing report visually. I'm just going to add random items or modules here for now for our first episode, just to show you what are the available things that we can do in Lucas Studio. So if I were to click on view, I can see the overall sales. All right, say I want to view fashion only. All right, so I can see fashion. If I were to click on reset filter, since the action that we set for the button is reset filter, it will reset everything else back to default. And you can add more features in your report as you go along, which we will cover individually, independently for our next coming episodes. I try not to cram all of them in one video because it will take longer than usual. And there's a lot of things to actually absorb if you're a first time dashboard creator. So this is in a nutshell what you can actually do in Lucas Studio. Not really an exhaustive display as to what Lucas Studio has to offer, But for a start, you can actually use Looker Studio to visualize your data easily. Within minutes or in an hour, you can get your report done for the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, so that you may find more contents like this. And of course, what we have covered today in terms of Looker Studio is not a comprehensive one, but rather a basic introductory. We will get into the specifics as we go along, similar to what we did with AppSheet. And of course, let me know what else you would like to see in the comment section down below. I'm Aris Azahar. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. So take care. Bye bye.